Hi guys, welcome back to another video. This time I've got the Folkslight for you from MyTinySun. This is a very interesting form factor light. 2000 lumens, totally self-contained, USB rechargeable and also software updatable. You can change the optics on this one to try and adjust your beam pattern, and there's at the moment, until they update the software again, there is 7 groups of modes. Now that sounds a little complicated, but it does mean that if you are a light tinkerer, if you've been struggling to find that perfect light with the right combination of modes or that right beam pattern, you can really adjust this light to make it the perfect thing for you. So let's have a look at how this thing works. We've got a button on the back here, we've got a button on the front. This is actually just a plug which covers the USB port. Make sure you don't lose this, put it somewhere safe when you're charging it up. And on the front here we've got 2 Cree XM-Ls with 2 different optics. This is a 17-degree, really narrow, throwy beam that really does go all the way down the trail. And this is a very wide floody optic, so it's 45 degrees wide. I found that this is one of the widest lights I've ever tested. It just fills the entire road, the entire trail. So in combination together, they really do help you see everything down the trail. So it's a pretty good light, this one. As well as having the flexibility of adjusting the beam pattern, it's also got a GoPro mount there, which means you can mount it to anything with a GoPro mount. And this screw thread here is also a tripod thread, so you can mount that onto any tripod you like. So it does have very flexible mounting options, as well as a flexible beam pattern which you can adjust to your liking, and yeah, it's got so many different modes on this thing. You should definitely be able to find the perfect power output for you. So when you first get this light, you need to unlock it, and then after that you only have access to 2 modes, which is high beam and power 2, and you can then switch between the 2 different LEDs. So I'll show you how that works. You got to press this front button and then this back button. You'll see that light glows green, and that means the light's unlocked. If you press the back there, as soon as it goes red, it turns on, and that turns on in the lowest mode, and then you press that and you'll see it ramps up to full power. So that's 2000 lumens, and that's 980 lumens, and then I can press this button here and that just cycles between the optics there, between the LEDs. So we press that button to turn it off. Now that is just in standby now, so I can quickly press it and it turns straight back on. So that's quite cool. In the dark at night, I can just see the status indicator there, press the button, straight on. To totally turn it off, out of standby, I need to press and hold that for a little bit longer, and then it turns it off. If I like, I can totally lock the light out again by pressing the front button and the back button, and now this light's totally locked out. When it's in my bag, it can't accidentally turn on, it'll be absolutely fine. So let's unlock it again. So that's simple mode. It might seem a little complicated, but once you've used it a few times, you can kind of get your head around it. Now to use the expert mode, we need to press this rear button and hold it for approximately 20 seconds. Now it will cycle through the SOS mode. So to use the SOS mode, you need to hold it for 7 seconds. But to unlock it into expert mode, we need to hold this until SOS mode has turned off. So I'm going to keep on holding this. So now that light's gone off, I know that it's in expert mode. So the light's totally turned off. Now I need to press and hold this for 5 seconds. And now this starts flashing, I can cycle through the different groups of modes. So like I said, there's 7 different groups of modes. We've got the red mode, we've got the orange, we've got green, turquoise, blue and violet. Now I'm going to try and do a breakdown of all the different groups, and you'll see that towards the end of the video. Now for example, if I want turquoise mode, which is an eco mode, that gives me a high of 1470 lumens, 980, 740, 620 and 500 lumens. So I just press this rear button to cycle through the different modes. It's quite hard to pick up on the camera these different modes because the way it gently ramps down and then the camera is adjusting its white balance a bit there, its exposure. So there's lots of different groups of modes, and again we've got the fuel gauge on the back here, and if I press that it will turn off into standby mode. Press again, it turns off completely. Now if I turn it on, it will tell me which mode I'm in, which group of modes, and it will give me the fuel gauge again. Always turns on into the lowest mode in that group. So bear with me, I know this is sounding a bit complicated. So in the red mode, the green mode and the blue mode, the fuel gauge is indicated by these LEDs flashing. So if you can imagine, if you're using this as a headlamp actually mounted on your head or on a helmet, you can't see this fuel gauge. So as the power drains, these LEDs every now and again will just give you a few flashes, and that will tell you the amount of fuel, well, I say the amount of fuel, the amount of power left in the light. So we'll go into one of those groups of modes that requires it to flash, the LEDs to flash. So let me go into red mode. We need to wait about 5-6 seconds till the mode selects itself. And there we go, and we should get a few flashes. There we go, 4 flashes tells me that the battery is between 100 and 75%. 3 flashes is between 75 and 50. 2 flashes is 50 to 25%, and 1 flash is 25 to 10%. So it's kind of a cool way of knowing the battery output when this is mounted on your head. Now I'm going to select one of the kind of standard modes, which is what you'd have if you were mounting it on your bars. So I'm going to go for orange mode. Again, we've got to wait 6 seconds here or so for it to select. Now that tells me it's in orange mode, and the green light tells me that it's a full battery between 100 and 75%. If that turns blue, that's 75 to 50% battery. Orange is 50% to 25%, and red is 25% to 10%. So just to show you all the different modes, here's a printout, and I will probably try and do some sort of chart at the end that kind of explains it a little bit better. So simple mode is power 4 and power 2 and low beam. So low beam is when you've only got one of the LEDs on, so you need to have a look at here where it says power 4 at 2000 lumens, power 2 at 980, and then low beam at 500. So that's how you work out the output. So when you select the red mode, you've got power 4, 2 and low beam, but on this mode the main LEDs flash, the actual Cree XM-Ls in the front of the light flash to tell you your power output rather than the button on the back. Now if I select orange, we've got power 4, 3, 2, 1 and low beam, so that's 2000 lumens, 1200, 980, 620 and 500. Like I say, it is a bit, takes a little bit to get your head around, but you can choose the perfect option for you using this. So as you can see, it really is quite an interesting light. It does a lot of things, but once you've got it set up, it does do what it does very, very, very well. And when you think of its price around that £120 mark, it's amazing how many features they've rammed into this thing. It is reasonably compact, reasonably lightweight, and just the features are off the chart, absolutely crazy. So if you're the sort of person that wants to tweak your light and fiddle about with these kind of things, highly, highly recommend this sort of thing. So there we go, that's my review of the Folkslight from MyTinySun. I hope you like this review. I'm sorry if I've babbled on a bit, but I really have tried my best to try and squeeze in as much information as I can about this light. And yeah, if you like this review, please like and subscribe, it means a lot. And I'll see you on the next one.
Pretty or strong to somebody as young as